And welcome one and all to another mini-sode. My name's Dustin Harris. Thanks for joining me on the Appraiser Coach podcast. I want to talk today about an interesting concept that I think can apply in many different circumstances, but mostly as it has to do with your employees. That principle is called low-cost, high-value benefits. I want to first pause here and remind you that we are sponsored by ANOW Software. ANOW is the management software that I use in my appraisal office that gives us huge benefits. It allows me to be able to focus on things that are important and not have to worry about the mundane. Check them out now at anow.com. It's ANOW.com for more information. Folks, today I want to talk about a principle called low-cost, high-value benefits. And, as appraisers, I think we understand the difference between cost and value. At least I hope we do. If we don't, you might want to go back to school, if you will, and learn that concept. But let's talk a little bit about the opportunity to hire and to maintain and to have loyalty when it comes to your employees. I think it's super important, folks, that you maintain good relationships with your employees. I have seen too many businesses have real issues because the employer just did not take the time to build relationships. Sometimes we forget that we are not just dealing with machines. We're certainly not dealing with robots here. It would be easier sometimes to deal with robots because you just tell them and they do it. But we're not. We're dealing with human beings. We're dealing with people that have issues, that have needs and wants and desires. And, just like any individual, they need to be taken care of. And those relationships need to be fostered, and they need to be cultured, and they need to be maintained on a long-term basis if you want to have some loyalty long-term with your employees. And who doesn't, right? I mean, think about this, folks, the cost. Let's talk about cost for a second. The cost of finding, interviewing, training, maintaining an employee is huge. As an employer, you got to remember that your time is money. It's not just a phrase. Especially as a self-employed individual, think about it, folks. Your time is money. They equal the same thing. And the less time you have to spend on certain aspects of your business, the more money you're going to make because you're going to be able to spend it on more important parts of your business, okay? Which reminds me of ANOW Software. That's exactly what ANOW Software does. ANOW allows you to focus on your business. It allows you to not take time to take spreadsheets and analyze what's going on in your business now, 3 months ago. How much non-lender business are you doing? How much lender business are you doing? What about that report that you did 2 months ago that you can't find in your regular software? ANOW allows you to find things quickly. It tells you what you need to know. Right? That's really the best way I can put this, folks, is ANOW allows you to get the answers you need right now instead of doing a lot of research, manipulating spreadsheets. Whether it be, hey, how's my business doing now compared to last year? How many reports have we done this month? How many have we been paid on? How many have we not been paid on? That kind of stuff you can find out through Excel, but I'll tell you, it takes a lot of time. And again, we're talking time is money today. A lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of effort, and a lot of, let me put it this way. As an employer, as a business owner, I can pretty much guarantee you if it takes longer than it should, you're not going to do it. And as a consequence, it's going to be pushed off to the side, and you're not going to know where your business sits. ANOW solves that problem for you. Go to anow.com right now, folks, anow.com. Take their free demo. They will show you what it will do for your business. You'll be blown away. You'll be super excited. It's anow.com. Oh, by the way, there's a new address. I keep failing to give this to you. anow.com/coach. Okay, use that one if you don't mind. That will tell them that you're listening to this podcast and that that's where you're finding out about ANOW. anow.com/coach for more information. Folks, a new sponsor here today. Grateful that I was contacted the other day by Ultimate Costume. Halloween's coming up. That's important. But this Ultimate Costume is not just a costume place, folks. Ultimate Costume is like Mission Impossible. You know what I'm talking about? That show is amazing because you think you're talking to another individual, and all of a sudden he rips the mask off, and it's Tom Cruise. And you had no idea it was Tom Cruise. Well, guess what? Ultimate Costume can do that for you. You can basically transform yourself into any gender, to any person. Here's how this works. Not that I would ever encourage this. Okay, I'm not encouraging this. Let me repeat. I'm not encouraging this. I'm just giving you a hypothetical of something you could do if you were not a very scrupulous appraiser. If you wanted to send out a trainee to do an inspection for a client that doesn't allow trainees, boy, that trainee could dress up like you, could look like you, could talk like you. No one would know the difference. Now, of course, they're not going to have the expertise that you have as the appraiser. That's why you would never, ever, ever want to do that. But if you were one of those appraisers and you wanted to try it out, Ultimate Costume could be your place to go. Folks, can't be everywhere. Need a clone? Get Ultimate Costume, and you never have to have your identity blown. All right, folks, we're back. Just got a 4-heart text from my wife during the break there. So that's how much she loves me. Just want to let you know. Phone's ringing in the background, but, that's just life. I didn't close the door today because, hey, I just don't do that. And my employees are gone. So here we are talking about cost versus value. Folks, let me explain it this way. You understand in an appraisal, a cost to build something is going to be one thing. The value that house might be is going to be completely different. And I know a lot of people in new construction, especially this season that we're in, a lot of people are spending. They're going to have to come to the table with cash because building a home might cost them $500,000 and it's really only worth $425,000 in the open market. People get that. I think they understand that. As an employer, I want to make sure that we also understand that the importance between cost and value is essential if you want to keep longevity for your employees. Now, this is what I'm talking about. Whenever you can, the benefits that you give to your employees needs to be low cost, high perceived value. Okay? So low cost for you as an employer, high perceived value for them. Now, that doesn't mean they're not valuable. Don't get me wrong. When I say perceived value, they may very much be valuable to them. Okay, let me give you an example in the non-appraisal world. Okay, those of you who might bring in a car, for example, to get a trade-in for another car. Okay, so you go to a car dealership, you bring in your used car, and they give you trade-in value, right? You're going to want to get the top dollar that you possibly can in trade-in value. Now, a lot of times they are able to actually cut the price off the manufacturer's sales price in order to give you a little bit more on your trade-in. Okay, so you're getting high perceived value on that, but it's low cost to them because they have that wiggle room anyway. Does that make sense? Okay. The same principle can and should be applied in your employee office, in your appraisal office. Okay. As an employer, you want to go high perceived value, low cost. Let me give you a couple of examples. Okay. Here's a great one. Roth IRAs, the ability to be able to match funds as an employer. You know what I'm talking about, okay? Setting up a Roth IRA for your employees and saying to them, hey, if you contribute 3% of your paycheck into the Roth IRA, I as the employer will also match 3%, okay? That doubles their investment, okay? According to my financial advisor, this is a huge high value, low cost example. Here's why. Less than 3%. I remember that number because it's usually the match amount. That's why I gave you 3%. So the employee puts in 3% of their paycheck. You as the employer match 3%. 3% of people, less than 3% of people actually take advantage of that. Okay, on a nationwide basis, less than 3% of your employees actually take advantage of it. In other words, you are coming to your employees and you're offering something big. You're offering to match, to basically double their investment for their retirement. Okay, it's huge. Perceived value, out the roof, right? Will they actually do it? Most likely not, because people live paycheck to paycheck. That's just their mentality, okay? That's why you're successful. They're not, okay, if you will. 3% match. It's a great perceived value. Hey, look at the benefit I'm giving you as an employer, and yet they won't take advantage of it, okay? That is a high value, low cost scenario for most employers. Okay. Now, we're not just talking about benefits such as health benefits and retirement benefits and disability benefits and all of that stuff that we talk about on a regular basis. We're talking about all kinds of things here, folks. What you're looking for is longevity, is loyalty, is being able to, the cost that you put into hiring somebody. You want that to last, and you want that to last long term, okay? So here's a couple of different things that I offer my employees. Now, some of these things I say up front, and a lot of them, they just come with the territory, and they're just part of that loyalty and maintaining a long-term relationship with my employees. For example, on a very regular basis, I would say at least twice a month, probably more like 3 times a month, I will buy lunch for my employees. Now, I'm not in the office very often, but, let's say they're working on a Friday afternoon and I can tell there's, some vibe around the office that's just not good. I might just say, hey, you know what? You guys go get lunch on me. I may be off. I may be with my family. I may be doing something completely different. But I'll let them know that, hey, take the company credit card, go buy lunch, it's on me. And I can't tell you what that does for their mood. Today, it's a Monday, and I come into the office on Monday. This is my office if you're looking on the webcam. I don't usually come into the office, but I do on Monday. And almost every Monday that I'm here, sometimes I'm traveling, but almost every Monday that I'm here, my employees just know. They don't expect it, but kind of they do on a pretty regular basis. About 12:30 comes along and I'll say, hey, what do you guys want for lunch today? I take orders. I go out and get it myself typically. Sometimes I send them depending on what's going on, but I don't mind going out and doing the grunt work as well. I think that is helpful to the morale of the office as well. And I'll go out and get burritos, and I'll go out and get Jimmy John's, or I'll go out and get pizza, or today we had Chinese, whatever. This isn't a high cost thing to an employer, but it's a huge perceived value for an employee. And they come to I think, appreciate those things very, very much. That again, the concept here is high value, low cost. Those are the types of things that are going to push you forward. Now, here's the other thing, parties. Get-together, socials, Christmas parties. We got Christmas coming up. Do you have plans in your office for some type of a company get-together? By the way, I don't do mine in December. Typically, I do them in January because I know that everybody else has so much else going on in December. We wait till the lull. We wait till things calm down. Yes, we have a Christmas party in January every year, but we do have a party. And usually in the spring, we have some type of an event where we might go to a baseball game together, or we might go bowling together, or we might do something together where there's food involved. There's, bring your families, bring your kids, get together. These are things that will maintain relationships long term. I promise you, it's awesome. It's awesome to see. It's awesome to be a part of. Okay. Here's another one to think about. Flexibility. Okay. We work in an environment that can and should possibly be very flexible. Think about it this way. Your employee has to take their son to the doctor. Your employee has to volunteer at the school. Your employee has to, come in late today because of such and such. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that you're so flexible that you get railroaded. Okay. Don't misunderstand. What I'm saying is that on a pretty regular basis, I'm pretty darn flexible with my employees. Here's what happens with that. Okay. As a consequence, for me as an employer, it allows me to be able to do and receive more value for less cost. Here's why. Again, the cost to train, the cost to find, the cost to maintain that relationship needs to be low enough that being able to keep them on long term is a high benefit. Does that make sense? In other words, what I'm trying to say is that cost can be so high that when they leave, it can be such a burden on you as an employer that it's just huge, and it allows you, and it causes you, I should say, not allows you, causes you to work off of fear. We don't want to work off of fear. Don't want to make decisions off of fear. Okay, fear can be a motivator, but fear should never ever be the reason for the decision. Okay, what I'm saying is this, folks. I could end up paying my employees very, very well for what they do. And I do pay them well. Don't get me wrong. I pay them more than typical what they could get compensated for out in a very similar job. Okay, but I don't have to pay them top dollar because I am, let's face it, a damn good employer. Okay, what I'm trying to say here is I'm very flexible with my employees. I get to know my employees. We have a good relationship. I think that goes a long way, and as a consequence, I can pay them at a certain level. And they're not always looking over their shoulder for something else to do. Does that make sense? In other words, the perceived value to them is high, and the cost to me is a little bit lower because of the great environment that we work in. Now, I know I'm tooting my own horn a little bit, and maybe my employees would disagree with you, but I don't think so. I mean, I typically keep employees long term, even though it is the attrition in this type of a business can be a challenge. And I think, and I put out there the vibe that if you can create a great environment in your office, that you don't have to pay the very top dollar, because a lot of times I've had my employees say this, hey, I've been offered more money somewhere else, but guess what? They won't allow me to work from home. there's no way they're as flexible as you are. Dustin, you're the best boss ever. I'm kidding about that part. But you know what I'm saying. They receive a great deal of value to work here. That's the type of environment you want to go for. Again, low cost to you, high perceived value for them. You can apply this principle in many, many different circumstances. But the circumstances that I would encourage you to think about and think about very deeply is with your employer-employee relationships. Folks, I hope you'll join me coming up at the Valuation Expo very soon in Las Vegas in November. Okay, coming up really, really soon. Folks, if you'll jump on the Expo website, okay, go to the Buzz, the Appraisal Buzz website, go to the Valuation Expo link, sign up, use the coupon code COACH, COACH, and get 20%. I don't know of any other coupon anywhere else that's saving you that much money, folks. Use the coupon code COACH and get 20% off. Come see me on the floor. Please come get on the mic with me. I would love to have you on air. We'll see you there at the Valuation Expo coming up in Las Vegas in just a few weeks.